Rhea Ripley is out of action indefinitely. Plus, Bobby Lashley makes his AEW debut, and we had a title change on AEW Friday Night Dynamite. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now.
I don't know why that made me laugh. I just wasn't expecting it.
Spooky things. Hey, let's talk about Rhea Ripley. Let's talk about Mother. Good morning, Mother.
Hello, Mother.
And best wishes to Mother, because we might not be seeing her for a little while.
Yeah, so on Tuesday's NXT, if we all recall, we saw Rhea Ripley taken out by Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez in that infamous, disgusting NXT parking lot.
You don't go in the parking lot.
You don't.
After dark.
Exactly. As a result of this attack, though, we won't be seeing Rhea for a while. And this comes from WWE socials. They say, last night on NXT, Rhea Ripley was heinously attacked in the parking lot by Women's World Champion Liv Morgan and her enforcer Raquel Rodriguez. Following the brutal attack, it has been revealed that the Nightmare has suffered a fractured right orbital socket, which will put Rhea Ripley out of action for an undisclosed amount of time.
So PW Insider, Fightful Select and Wrestling Observer all corroborating the fact that this is a legitimate injury to Rhea Ripley. The Observer saying that it was suffered on the last episode of Raw that she competed on. She hasn't been doing house shows since then. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful saying that the x-rays used in the photo on WWE socials is a legit photo of Rhea's orbital bone and the broken bits, all of it. And when it comes to the segment that wrote Rhea Ripley off, it was done as a way of explaining why she's not going to be on TV for a little while.
Yeah, Fightful said Rhea Ripley's bloody appearance following the attack as well, because I feel like that was a thing a lot of people like, oh, that's quite a bit of blood for a segment like this. Rhea Ripley's, this comes from Fightful, that bloody appearance following an attack by Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez drew concern backstage. However, the segment was greenlit by a higher power, meaning Shawn Michaels, Triple H, Lee Fitting, or a CW executive approved the segment itself.
In a different time, when said it was greenlit by a higher power, I could have gone, it's me, Austin! But no, we won't. So that was quite a gory scene that wrote her off TV for very legitimate reasons. The conversation now turns to when and how Rhea Ripley will return. I think we have our winner of the 2025 Women's Royal Rumble.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's how we do it. I think Rhea Ripley wins another Rumble. And she then faces Liv Morgan at Mania 41.
Wow, I feel so bad for Rhea Ripley because obviously she's not that long come back from an injury as it is already that saw her vacate the championship in the first place. And the stuff that happened on NXT felt to, at least to me, in my mind, it felt like, oh, maybe... I feel like people are kind of like cooling off on the feud a little bit. This felt like the shot in the arm that was going to be sort of like the final stretch towards the end. And it's such a shame that this has happened. But obviously we just wish nothing but the best to Rhea and hope she recovers very soon.
I think if anything, it's a blessing in disguise because it gives Rhea a massive push heading into January. And I reckon will probably lead to these two having their big blow off at WrestleMania and keeping Rhea off TV for that spell of time.
Yeah,
I think will allow Liv Morgan to maybe work some other storylines with some other people, spread her wings a little bit as a champion, and then come back to Rhea Ripley in January.
I agree, and I think I would like to see something a little bit different. Not that I don't like this feud, but I think something a little bit more fresh would be quite nice for Liv Morgan at this moment.
Freshen it up a little bit for her.
Yeah.
Let's go to Friday Night Dynamite. Oh, spoopy.
It's just so juvenile, but I like it so much.
It's so childish, isn't it? Dynamite last night saw Shelton Benjamin and Swerve have themselves a lovely little match in the main event. Swerve picking up the dub, and it led to something we've been waiting for a while.
Yes, that being Bobby Lashley. So Shelton Benjamin and Swerve Strickland, as Tom just said there, they had a singles match. Swerve picked up the win with a Swerve Stomp, and then after the fact, MVP made a phone call, and then Big Bobbert Lashley, who looked like Morpheus with his suit on from The Matrix. It's a very nice suit. He made his long-awaited AEW debut. Lashley walked to the ring, he embraced MVP, and they went face-to-face with Swerve Strickland. And then the Hurt Syndicate beat him down as Dynamite went off the air. Prince Nana and a whole pack of security guards got a beating as well. Oh my God, Shelton Benjamin just looks like a monster. It's insane. And yeah, it was reported a few months ago that obviously former Hurt Business MVP Shelton Benjamin and Bobby Lashley had all signed with AEW and would go under the name the Hurt Syndicate. And it was very nice to see Bobby last night.
Back in business. Are the lads in AEW. Yeah, Bobby and Swerve and the Hurt Syndicate all mixed up together now. Intrigued to see where this one goes. We're heading towards Full Gear. I imagine we'll get a showdown with them at Full Gear. But we also have a world title match set for Full Gear. Now, Orange Cassidy calling out Jon Moxley, a match that was confirmed later on that night. We also had a big old brawl with the new look BCC and pretty much the AEW locker room all battling, and Cassidy is sort of leading this charge to some extent. We saw Darby Allin returning amongst all of this as well, lest we forget. Darby's back at it once again, but we're going to see Orange Cassidy and Moxley at Full Gear, and these two have really good chemistry.
They do, don't they? Especially everything we've seen them do with the International Championship in the past as well. I thought those matches that they had were brilliant, and I like this storyline so much because it's lighting a fire under all these other like the people who we think will be the future of the company. Even Orange himself said so, like, these are the faces, these are the future of AEW. But within the storyline is like, they're too young at this point. I feel like I don't want them to get involved in it. It's up to me to put Moxley down, and I just like that side of Orange a little bit more, you know?
It's a funny one with Orange Cassidy because I really rate him as a performer. I think he's excellent, but I think no matter how good he gets and how much he does, I think there'll always be that base of detractors.
That's it.
For him.
Yes.
I guarantee you, as we're talking about this now, there is somebody, it might even be you, just writing pockets in the comments. And that's something that will never be escaped. You probably have seen now that somebody has indeed done that. Maybe 3 or 4 people. Good morning to you. But I think that's always going to be the case with the character and a persona that he has there. But I think if you're able to look beneath that, you see a really good wrestler who can tell a really strong story.
And that's it. He's had some incredible matches with some of the best. We saw him in I believe it was like towards the beginning of AEW's inception, maybe like 2020. I can't remember when, but that world title match he had with Kenny Omega and Pac, which was phenomenal. We've seen him tie up with like Will Ospreay, Jon Moxley, as we've said. Like he just brings it every time he's in like a high profile scenario, and yeah, I can't wait to see what he does here.
Also confirmed for Full Gear, we will have Jay White and Hangman Page one-on-one once again.
MJF versus who will it be? Adam Cole or Roderick Strong?
One has an idea on that. We'll talk more about that later. And 0 Hour will feature QT and AJ of the Costco guys, bringing the boom. Bring the boom to you. The boom is forthcoming, everybody, and Jimmy Fallon is livid about it.
He's livid. He wants the Rizzler in there instead.
Oh.
He loves the Rizzler. He doesn't love the Costco guys.
But he loves the Rizzler.
He does.
Loves Big Riz. So looking ahead to Full Gear, obviously we will have live reactions, 9 pitches, predictions, and the AEWTF moments exclusively on our Patreon feed as well for that one as well. But let's get back to Dynamite. Sorry, Friday Night Dynamite. Ooh! We had a return last night in the form of Mark Davis. Ooh! I haven't seen Mark Davis for a hot minute. I think last year Wrestle Dream was the last time he wrestled. He broke his wrist, and a few other health things have kept him away. Back to confront Kyle Fletcher. To see Aussie Open fall apart like this was devastating because Kyle Fletcher offered Mark Davis a spot in Don Callis' family. He said,
yes.
Don said there's kept a place for you.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Are we getting swerved in terms of will Mark actually like break away, or will he eventually join the Don Callis family? That's what I like about this.
Well, Davis doesn't want to do it, and Kyle Fletcher has said that he has shown recently he has no problem cutting the past loose. So whether or not we get, I don't know, I'd be intrigued to see whether Mark Davis, what he would do as a singles guy.
I think that's it.
I kind of get the vibe that we'll end up seeing Mark Davis reluctantly or otherwise in the Don Callis family.
That's what I think as well. I think this is maybe a little bit of a red herring to begin with, but I do think we'll see them back once again as Aussie Open.
A red herring.
A red herring.
A spooky herring.
Oh.
Ooh! The spooky herring!
Oh, Thomas.
And last night, indeed, we had new champions crowned on Dynamite. And they've only gone and done it, haven't they?
They've only gone and done it. Private Party are your new AEW World Tag Team Champions. They defeated the Young Bucks at last in a match which saw their future as a tag team hanging in the balance. They said if they don't win this, they will split up. However, they are now the champions, and therefore they won't split up, or at least we can hope so. Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy, they won the match clean with a gin and juice on Nicholas Jackson to win their first gold, and what a match. It was brilliant.
Delighted for them as well.
The odds were stacked against them at many points throughout the match, but it just kept building and building and building, and like they've been there, since... I don't know if it was day one necessarily, but the second episode of Dynamite, I believe, and like they deserve it more than anything, I feel like.
Since day one-ish.
Very good.
They've been down since day one-ish. Yeah, well deserved. I think they're fantastic, and it's nice to see them finally getting those flowers and getting titles as well to prove that also. Good stuff from Dynamite last night. On the podcast feed and on the Patreon, a brand new episode of Desert Island Graps dropped yesterday, featuring Parker Boudreaux.
Oh, amazing.
Formerly Haaland of NXT. He was also Parker Boudreaux in AEW. We talk about his time in both companies. Turns out he is best friends with basketball icon Kevin Durant and Terry Crews.
There's some fair friends.
They are some brilliant friends.
They are some brilliant friends.
And he's a lovely guy. He's a good egg, is Parker. Good to have a chat with him. And you can watch that on the Patreon. You can listen to that on the podcast feed right now. It is Crown Jewel weekend for you, young man.
It is, yes. So we have predictions on the channel already. They went up on Tuesday. We got pitches as well. Ross did a phenomenal... I don't know what that man was taking yesterday, but his second pitch was something that absolutely blew my mind. It was like something out of an M. Night Shyamalan film. It was incredible. And yes, we'll have the podcast obviously as well. Myself and Adam will be doing a live stream on Saturday afternoon. All proceeds from that are going to Save the Children and to help with relief for the hurricanes that have happened recently in the United States as well. So stay tuned for that. And if you can donate, please do. And hopefully we'll see you there.
And for the latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. Kiss, kiss.
I love you. Bye.
Ooh. Halloween, isn't it?
It is Halloween.
Ooh.